Welcome on in here to Sports Memo Today. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and happy to be with you on a Tuesday edition, getting you the actionable info you know and love here in 30 minutes or less. Happy to be with you, and we have plenty to get into. You see beside me, I got Moneyline Matt and Dan Kaiser coming on, and we have the Lakers and Nuggets. It is set. Those Western Conference Finals. We got a prop play for you coming from my man Moneyline Matt. We also have a side play he wants to look for in Game 1. And then if you like those series long bets, my man Dan Kaiser going to come on. He's got a take on who's going to be taking that home and represent the West in the NBA Finals coming up here. And he's also got a little short-term series. He's got the Cleveland Guardians and the Chicago White Sox, and he thinks one of those teams is going to get it done in 3 coming up this week. So we got 4 different bets coming your way, free play 4 here on a $2 Tuesday. And it's exciting because typically what we have done is a $5 Tuesday here at Sports Memo, but we're doing something a little bit different. It's actually even a better deal now. How about 2 handicappers for just $3? So you get to knock $1 off and you get 2 top-rated plays, one from Billy Coleman, a 5% play from him. And it's pretty exciting that we're able to get 2 different plays for you for just $3. So let's get right into it and welcome in my man Moneyline Matt. He told me to try and keep him short because he could talk about this series forever. So you'll have to stay tuned for Triple Double. You'll have to check him out on Twitter as well. But let's start off, I guess, with Game 1. Sure, you have a side that you like, but why not let's start with a series wager? Because you love doing these prop plays. You love finding plus money in the prop market. And you think there might just be some guy who is eaten under the basket. Who do you think is going to lead us in rebounds as the series goes on?
Yeah, 100%, Dan. I'm always looking for different ways to find value, whether it be the series, whether it be the game, whether it be a same-game parlay, a little bit of anything. And right now, I think there's some definite value with Anthony Davis, top rebounder throughout the series. Okay, and one thing that is interesting, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, is the fact that Anthony Davis was actually the top rebounder in the NBA, but he only had 56 games played, so it didn't count. Anthony Davis averaged 12.5 rebounds per game in comparison to Domantas Sabonis, who had 12.3 rebounds per game. The only difference is Sabonis had the games necessary. And in this series, I think there is a huge focus on Anthony Davis versus Nikola Jokic. I even like to call this a legacy series for Anthony Davis. There is no one throughout the NBA who has gotten, honestly, just more shit than Anthony Davis because of his injuries. And you do completely understand that. But when Anthony Davis is playing at a top level, I personally think he is the best dual threat player, both offensively and defensively. In both of these series too, obviously in this matchup, currently Nikola Jokic is the leader for the top rebounder at -110. So I do think there's value here with Anthony Davis because 2 things. Anthony Davis out-rebounded him in the regular season, and he's out-rebounded him in both series throughout the playoffs. And I do understand that the matchups are slightly different. When you take a look at the Memphis Grizzlies, they were running Xavier Tillman, they were running Jaren Jackson Jr., and then you look at the Warriors, they went away from Kevon Looney, but they went away from Kevon Looney due to the dominance of Anthony Davis. And when you compare Nikola Jokic and Anthony Davis together, Jokic is obviously a very good rebounder. He's a very good offensive rebounder, things of that nature. But when you're going against someone like Anthony Davis, who is a big body, he can compete with you down there. He can get his hands up. He's athletic enough to get your shot as it's elevating, things like that. So Anthony Davis offers something that's very unique, I believe, in this series when going against someone like Nikola Jokic. If there is anyone throughout the entire NBA that I believe could limit Nikola Jokic, I do think it's Anthony Davis. And personally, our producer Eric, we were talking about this before the show, I think Anthony Davis is hands down the best defensive player throughout the NBA. Jaren Jackson won the award, yes, but I think a lot of that, again, has to do with Anthony Davis and those games played. There is no one throughout the NBA who can defend that paint and the rim like Anthony Davis. So again, I'll go back to it. This is a legacy series for Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis can outplay Jokic or even limit him, and the Lakers end up winning, I think Anthony Davis should be the MVP for the conference title. Again, just because of that matchup. And again, there's going to be two big bodies out there. All right, because both teams kind of go off after that, with the Nuggets running Michael Porter Jr. and the Lakers running more so Jared Vanderbilt. So those two are going to be the ones around the rim primarily. And, Anthony Davis has even had a couple 20-rebound game throughout the playoffs so far. So for me, I think this is great value with Anthony Davis, who should be extra motivated coming into this series, and just the fact that Jokic has been back-to-back MVPs and probably should have won it again this year based off the play, the playoff play compared to Joel Embiid. But, he's got to have some extra motivation. I think he's going to have a little pep in his step in this series and really have something to prove here, because he is the player that is going to make or break this series for me. So for me, it's Anthony Davis for the top rebounder in this series. I have him beating out Nikola Jokic in this spot.
Wow, taking down the Joker. Wow, I like the breakdown, though, and I also love that little legacy series, because anytime you can find a little added motivation come playoff time, that might be the ultimate difference maker. And also the price kind of tells you it only plus 125. It's a two-person race. Is it going to be Joker? Is it going to be Davis? And I think, you break it down pretty well there of why not take the plus money on something that you kind of view as kind of like a 50-50 coin flip with it leaning a little bit more towards Davis, right?
Yeah, and I'd be shocked if this line doesn't start driving down towards
Agreed.
more so the even money and beyond. So right now, I think would be the spot to do it, because say Anthony Davis comes out and has a great game one, has 15 rebounds, 20 rebounds, something like that, that price is going to change drastically. So right now would be the time to grab it.
Agreed with you. If you're going to grab it now. Anthony Davis, the series rebound leader. That's my man, Moneyline Matt. All right, so you broke down Anthony Davis, why you think he could dominate there. Does that translate over you thinking that the Lakers tonight in game one might just be worth a little sprinkle, because it's looking like they're around 6.5 out there in the marketplace as they're facing off against the Nuggets this evening? How's Moneyline Matt going to be betting it?
Yeah, for me, I am definitely taking a look at the Los Angeles Lakers spread here. And, throughout the playoffs as well, it's really shown that if you're willing to take the points, a lot of the times that underdog just wins outright. I'm not sure if that happens here. I just think 6 is a lot of points. This Lakers team is very competitive, and this Lakers team has done a very, very good job at blitzing their opponents in game one. They did it to the Memphis Grizzlies, game one in Memphis. They did it against the Golden State Warriors, game one in Golden State. So, just because this team has so much experience. You look at LeBron James, obviously everything that he's done throughout the playoffs, he's going to be able to get this Laker team ready, no problem. Anthony Davis has a lot of experience in the playoffs. D'Angelo Russell has a little bit. But all in all, I think this is a team that's going to be ready for the moment. And then in addition to that, you heard me talk about Nikola Jokic, okay, and some of the people that he has gone against throughout the playoffs so far. The first series, he went against Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, and I understand Rudy Gobert is known as a solid defender, this and that. But all in all, Rudy Gobert is a great shot blocker. He's a great rebounder. He's not someone who handles athleticism very well. So, and that's one thing that Jokic actually has. He's incredibly good at keeping that pivot foot down, going in and out, up and under, a little bit of everything. And that's something that Rudy Gobert really can't handle. I think deep down we all know who Rudy Gobert really is. He's whatever. He's not that good. But then we take a look at the Phoenix Suns series. He's going against DeAndre Ayton and Jock Landale. And that was the softest I've potentially ever seen DeAndre Ayton play in my life. Jock Landale was outplaying him on top of that. So, and when you're going against someone like Jock Landale or Ayton and just not playing that well, you're going to dominate that. So now he's coming in against Anthony Davis. And I think this could be somewhat of a shock factor, because you're going against a certain level of competition. And then all of a sudden, game one, you're up in that competition big time. Anthony Davis, you're not going to be able to bully him to the basket like you were Jock, like you were DeAndre Ayton. When you turn around and do that floater, Anthony Davis is athletic enough to get up and meet that ball at the point. So that's why I kind of like the Lakers and the spread here. I think there's going to be a shock factor in this spot. In addition to that, Jokic backing down Anthony Davis, trying to get to that basket and then passing out of it. The Los Angeles Lakers are one of the best teams throughout the entire NBA at closing out at that three-point line. So when you potentially limit Jokic a little bit, and when I say limit, I'm talking 25 points, like 12 rebounds, 6 assists, okay? You can't really limit this man. But then you're turning to Jamal Murray. Then you're turning to Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So then I also think the Lakers will run Jared Vanderbilt on Jamal Murray, which is a very, very difficult matchup for anyone. We saw what happened with Steph Curry and Vanderbilt. And then because of that, you're looking at Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. in comparison to the Lakers, who have D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, Rui Hachimura, Lonnie Walker. I love the depth of this Lakers, and I honestly should say I hate this depth because I really don't like the Lakers at all. They're just a good team. You know, they check all the boxes for me. They've got the All-Stars. They've got the depth. They've got the defense. They literally just got everything. So that's why I've told people all series long or all playoffs long, get some exposure on this Lakers championship. I really do believe that. I still believe that because I do believe that Anthony Davis very well could be the kryptonite for Nikola Jokic. So kind of putting this on the line there, I've been a big supporter of Anthony Davis, you know, since he came into the league with the Pelicans, since he came to the Lakers, a little bit of everything, because I truly believe Anthony Davis is the only player throughout the NBA, well, Giannis as well probably, but who can dominate on the offensive end as well as the defensive end. So I think he is going to be a huge focal point in the series. Once again, I'm going back to it. This is a legacy series. I don't want to hear about the LeBron James shit. This is an Anthony Davis legacy series, okay? Jokic versus Davis. This is what the people need to focus on because whoever wins this matchup will win the series, okay? But tonight, I'm with the Lakers +6.
Man, all I'll say is if Anthony Davis goes down at all in this series, this will be going up in smoke rather quickly because the love for the Lakers definitely hinging on the love for Anthony Davis. But no, I love the breakdown there, and also with the Lakers, got a personal rooting interest as Lonnie Walker, a hometown guy where I'm from. So seeing him and what he did in that closeout game was something special, in that game 6 rather. All right, man, I love it. Lakers +6, and we're looking at Anthony Davis, rebound leader for the series. When people head on over to your page and hopefully after cashing one of these plays, what are they going to find locked and loaded over there at sportsmemo.com?
Yeah, I've actually got a good amount up right now. I have some series plays on both the Los Angeles Lakers and the Nuggets, and then the Heat and the Celtics. And I will say the Anthony Davis play is one of those. I have 4 plays total. So again, if you're into some futures, some series bets, stuff like that, I do have a good amount going on over there, and I think some really good value. And one last thing I'll say is playoffs, I am second in overall profit throughout the playoffs. I am first last 30 days. I'm first last 7 days. Been running really, really hot, and I'm very pleased with the way things have been going. Very happy for all my subscribers because I was able to do this last year, but I wasn't with Sports Memo and Wager Talk. So it's nice to come in, replicate it once again, and give some people a lot of wins. You know, we're riding, I think, around 62% over the entirety of the NBA playoffs, and we're not done yet. There's still a lot of basketball to go, so got to keep picking these winners.
I love it, man. That's my man, Moneyline Matt. Check him out, and make sure you check him over at Twitter as well. See all the great shows that he's on here at Sports Memo TV and guesting elsewhere. And also, you never know when he's going to drop a same-game parlay on your head that'll get you like +10 to 1. So definitely big follow over there. Always love when Matt comes on and breaks it down all over the Lakers. So let's see if we can get something from the other side here. Bring in my man, Dan Kaiser. Always appreciate when Dan comes on because having a fellow Dan on the show, you know he's going to be dropping some great knowledge. So typically I like going with actionable info that can, you know, get cashed a little bit sooner. But since he's just given all the kind of love for the Lakers, I think we got to pivot here, Dan, and start off with this Nuggets and Lakers series. He says Davis might be having the upper hand on the Joker. Is that how you see it? Or as the series price looks, do you think this is Nuggets series to lose?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm not a biggest fan of the Lakers as a Moneyline Matt was there in that one. So, yeah, I think this should be a pretty exciting series. But from a personal and from a betting perspective, I hope it's not. I look at this. I like the Nuggets in this series for a couple of reasons. The Nuggets, I look at the Nuggets, they have 3 or 4 guys that you can go to: Jokic, Murray, Porter Jr., Gordon. And I look at this Lakers team, and unlike Matt, I think it's James and Davis. And, yeah, they did have guys step up in Reeves and Walker and Hachimura. But, wherever those guys all season, you never heard about them all season. They've all had, good games, but can you count on them when the pressure gets even more intense? And I to be honest, I just don't think he can. I think Jokic is a matchup problem for the Lakers, as he is for everyone. And to be honest, I'm not sure. Unlike Matt, I'm not sure the Lakers will play Davis full time on Jokic. Jokic. I don't know if they want Davis away from the basket all that much. I think if he was going to protect the rim, I think they're going to want him in the paint. So I think they'll probably throw somebody else on Jokic, because Jokic loves that screen and roll up top. He loves to be up top, surveying the court, finding that open man. So I'm not sure you're going to see that Davis-Jokic one-on-one matchup for the full game. And I look at another thing: neither team shoots the threes all that much. They were ranked 25th and 26th in the league shooting threes. The Lakers live by the foul on the foul line against the Warriors, but they'll be facing a Nuggets team that's one of the lowest fouling teams in the league. So if the refs, just call it like a normal game, I don't see the Lakers getting a huge advantage at the line in this one throughout the series. If it comes down to that half-court mid-range game, I just like the Nuggets. I like what Jokic can do, passing the ball. He seems to be able, he always seems to make, they always say about James, he makes the right basketball play. And I think Jokic is in that same sense. He always makes the right basketball play. He always seems to make a pass that you don't see you don't see the guy watching on TV that guy's open, and all of a sudden Jokic is passing it to some guy that's wide open that's hitting the open shot. Yeah, and another kind of a matchup. A couple of years ago when these two teams played, I think it was in the bubble, Caldwell Pope was the one that guarded Murray, and now Murray's playing alongside of Murray in this one. So I just think, I don't know, I think Jokic will be the difference. And to be honest, I agree with what Matt said about maybe Davis winning the rebounding battle between them. But Davis doesn't show up every game. He seems to play every other game. And in this matchup, if he's playing every other game, the Lakers don't have a chance. So I like the Nuggets in this series.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, even if he gets the rebound crown, the rebound, while looking good on the stat sheet, doesn't always translate to points, which is what you're going to need in this series to get it done. So laying it with the favorite, says Dan Kaiser. So hop below in the comments. Let us know, which way are you leaning? Which way are you betting in this Lakers and Nuggets series? We got 2 breakdowns strong for both sides tonight. For what it's worth, too, Lakers can still cover that 6, and the Nuggets can still win and get Dan even a step closer to cash in this free play for you. You also had another series that you wanted to look at. This one, a 3-game set going between the Cleveland Guardians and the Chicago White Sox. Is it another favorite that you're eyeing in this one, Dan, or are they mispricing the dog here?
I don't think you could ever misprice making the White Sox a dog, to be honest. And that's coming from a White Sox fan. I mean, both these teams have gotten off to bad starts. They weren't expecting this to start the season. The Sox, though, they changed the manager. He got rid of the old GOAT in more ways than one in La Russa, and they thought this would solve all their problems. But again, injuries to the key players, poor pitching, poor roster construction, and we're left with the same old White Sox. And I'm looking at this series. I like the Indians in the series. Basically, I'm looking at the pitching matchups. In Game 1, you got Bieber against Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn's just been dreadful this season for the Sox, and I'd be surprised if he makes it through the whole season for them. Bieber's pitched really well for Cleveland this year. He's 3-1 so far. So just looking at it, if you're doing it on paper, I'd chalk that up to a win. So now I just got to win one of the next 2. Game 2, again, Sox going with Mike Clevenger. He's not been good this season. And the Guardians are going with Battenfield. He's 0-4 this season. So again, you got 2 bad pitchers going against each other. But right now, you got to take Cleveland's offense. They're been a little bit more productive, and they have a better bullpen right now. I know the Sox are supposed to get Hendricks back, but how good is he going to be right off the bat? You know, dealing with all the chemo he had before the season started. So you got to give the edge right there to Cleveland. So let's say that's a toss up, either or. But I'd like Cleveland actually to win the first two games. And then the last matchup, this is the one where you look on paper and say, oh, this is where the Indians would have to win the first two because you got Dylan Cease going for the White Sox. But outside of his last start where he looked really well, he's been terrible this season, and he's been knocked around a lot. And so Logan Allen will go for the Indians. He's pitched decent for them this season, so I think that game's a toss-up. And I'm just looking. And so if I got two toss-up games, the Indians are the better offensive team. And I think more importantly, they're the more sound baseball team. They're more fundamentally sound. They have a better roster of players that play real positions, unlike the Sox, who like to throw a lot of DHs out in the outfield. So, yeah, I think – and last year, the Indians put the Sox away to close out the season, and here's a perfect chance for them to step on the White Sox neck early in the season and put more distance between them. I just like the Indians. Until the Sox can start winning series. They've only won 2 series out of 13 this season. Until they show me consistently that they can win 2 out of 3 games against the same team, I just have to stay off them. So I like the Indians in this one.
Cleveland laying the price against Dan Kaiser's White Sox, betting with the head, not the heart there. Dan, when people head on over to your page, sm.buzz/DK, what kind of premium plays are they going to see locked and loaded?
Yeah, I got a baseball up right now. I'm going to sit out this first NBA game and just to see how it flows. I would lean a little bit to taking the points in it, but I'm just not right now. I'm just not strong enough to put that up as a premium play, and then I'll be hitting the hockey again once those games start up again. So baseball and hockey, and after game ones in the NBA, you'll see some NBA plays coming up also.
He's Dan Kaiser. A great time to hop on and get 11 days for the price of 7. No code needed. That's our lucky 7-11 promo going. And over at sportsmemo.com, also check out the deals page. See where else you can save cash while making cash. One of the ways is our new 2 for $3 here on $2 Tuesdays. You can either buy the plays individually from R&R Totals. He's got a 5%er. And Billy Coleman, new here to Sports Memo after a decade with North Coast Community Line. He's here with us, and he's our $2 Tuesday handicapper. So why pay 4 when you can just pay 3, 2 5% plays that you can get for just $3? That's our new price to thank you here watching Sports Memo Today. Check all the great handicappers out at sportsmemo.com, and that does it for a Tuesday edition. You got some series plays, you got some game 1 plays, so you're ready and locked and loaded until we chat next show, which will be Thursday here on Sports Memo Today. So until then, best of luck. Big thanks to Moneyline Matt. Big thanks to Dan Kaiser. Make sure you come back Thursday when I'm joined with Nick Parsons of the Insider's Room and Matt Joseph's Mid-Major Matt. Big thanks to Eric doing a terrific job behind the scenes as well. Until Thursday, best of luck. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and we'll see you back here on SMT.